Sirwa has been quick to dispel hopes of a championship. But after last week, an outside observer can't help but notice that Chin's DNF has brought the Canadian back into the mix in a big way. The oval rounds often include a lot of unpredictability, and today, Richmond could be another key step towards David challenging Josh for the title. We'll find out if it is as we get ready to watch Round 9 of the PRL Indy Pro 2000 Series. And you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Richmond International Raceway retains its unique flavor in a world of ovals that's become increasingly cookie cutter. To find out what sets it apart, let's head down to our track guide.
Welcome to Richmond Raceway. Richmond is known as the action track, and it's real easy to see how. The unique D-shaped oval allows drivers to reach a lot of speed into Turn 1. Richmond has long been known as a short track that races like a super speedway. With its multiple racing grooves and a history of some beating and banging, Richmond is a fan favorite and driver favorite as well. The Little Virginia short track has 14 degrees of banking in the corners, with 8 degrees awaiting the drivers on the front stretch. No matter what vehicle you drive here at Richmond, tight in the center is usually what you end up fighting the most, based around the fact that drivers are carrying such high speeds into the corners each and every single lap. Now, the best drivers would be the ones that you're going to be seeing working the brake bias to adjust as the track temperature changes. If you find yourself racing in the baking Virginia sun, corner exit will be your worst enemy. When the sun comes up and brings those track temperatures with it, the grip level at Richmond absolutely plummets. Richmond has been around for quite a while, tracing its roots back to the beginnings of NASCAR. With a recent renovation, it's prone to be a NASCAR for quite some time, which isn't a bad thing if you ask me. This has been our guide to the Richmond Raceway. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Richmond being the third round of the season that they're going to race on ovals here in the PRL Indy Pro 2000 Series, but each time they've been slightly different. So why don't you run us down here, DJ?
Well, Joe, of the two that we've run, I have to say Richmond's going to lean a little bit closer on the side of Phoenix. We're not going to see any of the heavy lifting like we did coming into Turn 1 at Gateway. There's just going to be little minuscule lifts at the top of stints going into Turn 1 and going into Turn 3 around this super tight 3/4 of a mile circuit. Passing's going to be at a premium, I think. There's really only one quick lane around here, and that is the relatively lower lane. You don't want to get all the way down to get your left side tires onto that yellow line, as that is a one-way ticket for disaster. But you want to get right about in that middle groove of that low line. The only real way I can see a good pass getting made is getting a good draft and diving down the inside. That could lead to a few little kerfluffles along the way, but we'll have to see.
Hopefully not too many, because being like Phoenix, well, we had enough cautions there. But also, we want to remind you that today's broadcast is proudly sponsored by ButtKicker. ButtKicker products add an incredible immersion and realism to any game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat. Check them out at thebuttkicker.com. The championship has closed back in. Josh Chin with a DNF has brought him 18 points away from David Sirwa. Of course, obviously, they've still got tonight and one more after this to settle the championship. So it's not over, but David really needs to continue to make inroads like he just did. Alex Guyon way back there with Ike and Legault tied for fourth place. And you've got Rodriguez and LeBlanc tied for P5. So fourth and fifth, very much up for grabs amongst a lot of drivers trying to settle that one out. Let's look at the AM standings while we're at it.
Well, you can see there Dave Peterson is on the top of that, but Owen McLaughlin able to close that gap super tight there, only 5 points between them, but they have separated from the rest of the AM drivers. Everybody getting a little bit of a cushion from there on back. Michael Broomhead in third, Tyler Gore fourth, and Donald Olson in fifth, 52 points back of the leader, Dave Peterson.
Now for today's race, just a quick rundown. They were on round 9, and it's going to be 135 laps if they don't go over 55 minutes. Open setup series with some penalties if they get too many incidents. Hard to see drivers getting too many incidents here, although they can get through the grass accidentally, and then bonus points as well. Let's look at our starting order. It is going to be Josh Chin on the pole. That's another bonus point for him, with Declan Eady next to him in second. David Rodriguez on the inside of the second row in third, with Aaron Roofs in P4. Adam Wright starts fifth, with Anders Arhaus in the sixth position. Serwa all the way down in seventh. That's not good. He needs to start making some passes in this race. Olivier Legault will be starting eighth, and Andreas Eick ninth, with Kevin Santana in P10.
In P11 is going to be Tyler Scarali, followed by Andrew Wood in 12th, Alex Guyon 13th, with Matthew Hall outside of him in 14th. Owen McLaughlin on the inside of row 8 in 15th, followed by Matthew Gunderson. Jean-Francois Mattei in P17, followed by Eric LeBlanc. And in row 10 will be Christopher Richards and Michael Broomhead.
Then you've got Tyler Gore in 21st, with Dave Peterson starting 22nd. Sebastian Prue, P23. To his outside, it'll be Barry Cochran in the 321 car. You've got Sean Duhamel qualifying all the way down in 25th, unusually. You typically see him a little bit farther up, but again, it is an oval round, so could be just a little bit out of place because of that. Paul Wildridge will be 26. Last two cars to put a time in are Olson and Bear. Robert Besaw Jr. going to be starting at the back of the field today. Starting off on our 2 pace laps, then we will get going for what is hopefully 135 laps. It is relatively cool out. Of course, they typically race at night here in Richmond, DJ, so only 78 Fahrenheit. Will that make it take a little bit longer to get those tires up to temperature?
Yeah, it'll take a little bit longer to get them up to temperature. I'd say you'd see full raciness after about a lap and a half or so to really get them up. What it is going to help with, though, is tire wear. You're not going to see as much heavy graining as you've seen on some other trucks, like when we were racing in Phoenix, for example, where tire wear, you saw that massive fall off the cliff. So I think that's going to help them a little bit to extend these stints and make this a little bit less of a tire-dependent race.
All right. Can Chin keep up his win or nothing record? He's either finished outside of the top 5 or won the race. So his starting on pole certainly bodes well for him, but then he started on pole back at Mid-Ohio as well, and he made his own error wrecking out of the race. And of course, as we mentioned, you get a little bit of randomness with chaos around you here in the ovals, especially if you get caught up in the mid-pack. Will Chin be able to stay out front all race long? Keep that clean air? Let's find out, because the pace car is in. Chin has control, and he is off early. Green flag is out here at Richmond for round 9. Big jump for Josh out front as Eady has a clear line down to the bottom into the first corner. Rest of the pack trying to sort themselves out, but it looks relatively calm.
Good omens there for the start, and oh, I jinxed it as we've got a big kerfluffle there in the back. Couple of guys getting loose off of turn 2. Multiple drivers involved, and we're going to have our first yellow out here tonight.
I think Guyon involved in the start of that in the 808 car. Oh yeah, he actually just caught it. Scarali and Hall are going to clip one another, when I think Tyler in the 116 is going to get a little loose.
Yeah, you can see it here coming off of that corner. They're going to come up. Ooh, nowhere to go. 1, 2, 3. Everybody just absolutely bottlenecked there. That's what can happen if you're not careful. We talked about those cold tires a little bit, Joe. I think that's a case of it just not recognizing where the car is going to want to ride up, not having the full grip to be able to lock down on the corner exit.
We got an onboard of Jean-Francois Mattei, the 218. Here, there you see, yeah, just snuck through. We're going to watch from his perspective because he's right behind it as it happens. And, well, we talked about unpredictability. I'd say this is lady luck on his side.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Moses parting the seas there for Mattei. Just lucky as all.
So that'll give him a number of spots, and actually that puts him in the top 10 now. And we unfortunately under caution after not even completing the first lap. So Chin still our leader. Eady easily into second place, and Adam Wright into third. did we see any progress from our challenger, or did he get caught up in that actually? Where is Sirwa? Oh, he
Sirwa
got
looked like,
caught up in
yeah,
it. Oh
yeah.
no.
Heartbreak there for David Sirwa. That's going to absolutely diminish any chance he has of moving his way up in this title fight. That is day done for David Sirwa there. Oh, heartbreak.
And I believe that will be his first DNF of the season. Trying to figure out what happened here. You know what? His incident happened after the caution flew. Oh, he is going to be steamed about this one. He got hit by the number 10. Let's see if we can pull up a replay. It was immediately after the wreck. We might have time to take a glance at this. Our house is the one that gets into the back of him. I wonder if he just checks up and doesn't realize with the caution that everybody's going to be slowing down. We're going to try and give this one more go. Here it is, right here. You're going to see it into turn 3. That's our house down low in the black car. Just clips the back of him and up into the wall.
Absolutely nothing at fault there for Sirwa. Arhus, I think, just not recognizing Sirwa was starting to check up and just sending him out of this race and effectively out of this title fight.
Yeah, he can take repairs. He's going to be so many laps down, though. As we are coming back to green now because the pace car is in. And Joshua Chin once again leads away. Green flag flies. Adam Wright following in second. Oh, did we lose our second place runner? Must have taken a pit stop. Roof's back in third now. Oh, we got a car on the wall back there. Trying to figure out who that is. Oh, and it's our house who made the contact before. I wonder if he had some lingering damage.
May have. We're going to watch him here as he goes down into one, comes up that same play. Oh, yeah, that's got to be some front wing damage that he just had no idea about, as that car did not turn whatsoever.
Watch on board. Looked like he was trying so hard to get out of it as soon as he realized. Oh, but there's just no saving it.
No,
someone clipped him too. Let's see who that is. I'm checking on mine. That is, I think that's Wood. Yeah, that was Andrew Wood who got a piece of it. He's still out, though. He has not come into pit. We have a number of cars that are in pit lane, either for damage or I think some of our back markers have tried to take a little bit of an alternate strategy. Declan Eady, who was in second place, was among those. Obviously not a back marker, so I'm not sure why he's given up the track position here to duck in this early.
Joe, I went back and I took a look at it, and it looked like Eady may have been missing a front wing when he came in. I have no idea how he picked that up necessarily. I'm trying to go back and find it, but I think that's why he made the dive down pit lane.
Interesting. Okay, so while he's looking at that, I can just update you on the drivers that have been taking extensive repairs. Broomhead, McLaughlin, Hall, Sirwa, who we mentioned earlier, LeBlanc. Gore is actually back out, but I think he's going to have to come in for a few more repairs as he's ducking down the lane right now. Scarali is back out. He's in 21st. So Sirwa actually could gain a few spots here with how many people have been in and out and have been taking repairs. Esau Jr. now pitting for what looks like scheduled work.
It is, Joe. I just went back and I took a look at Declan Eady there. I have no idea what happened. He made no contact at all with anything that I could tell, and it looked like his front wing just sort of magically disappeared halfway through the lap.
Huh. All right, well, some sort of ghost contact or something. That'll have to just remain a mystery for the time being as we wait for our second caution to clear away. Boy, the field has thinned out so incredibly fast. I think we're down to potentially 20 drivers here because we started with 29 and looks like our house is going to actually call it a day and Prue is as well. So 2 officially done, but many have found themselves unfortunately having to sit and stay patient while the crew bangs away.
Yeah, that's just one of the most frustrating things you can have as a sim racer, is just sitting in the pits watching, excuse me, watching that countdown going down of time until your repairs are completed, knowing you are just getting put lap after lap after lap down. But hopefully these guys will be able to get out here within the next lap or so under yellow and not lose as many as possible.
Let's see, I think we should get lights out this time. I do believe, yes, they have gone out. So, getting ready to go green yet again. Some people have certainly moved up the order. I'm looking at Dave Peterson up from 22nd to 10th, Donald Olson from 27th to 11th. So those who have stayed out find themselves with that valuable track position here around the bull ring. That is Richmond International Raceway. Should be hopefully some green flag racing coming our way. They gave another reminder to the drivers about the cold tires on these restarts as Chin keeps it right up against the outside wall, and he is gone. Green flag is out one more time, restarting on lap 12. Chin with a good jump. Behind him, Adam Wright giving watch. Bit of a battle for third. Ike down low on Roofs. And Roofs might be under attack because behind him, Legault peeking to the inside in the blue and white machine. The 88 has got that desired low line. Is he able to complete it though? Not quite. They're going to continue to go wheel to wheel.
They are. It looks like those lower tires just not really getting up to temperature as it need. And there you see Legault having to hold off a little bit of Kevin Santana behind him. This turned into a really good battle. Roofs being able to hold that line in front of Legault absolutely perfectly, disrupting any sort of air he's got, making Legault take a different line around this track.
So that was one of the first times we've been able to see what the side-by-side racing is going to be like. And now with tires up to temperature, very single file. Legault falling off the back of Roofs. Roofs, in the meantime, setting his eyes forward to Andreas Ike, potentially, to get onto the podium. We're on board currently with that number 76, 76, excuse me. No, it is a 26. 76 is Andreas Ike just in front of him. And the red and white deep into the corner. And Roofs is looking strong.
He is. He's really got that car hooked up. It cost him a little bit on corner exit, but he's able to stay right up behind Andreas Ike now. Ike able to pull out a little bit of a distance there coming off of turn 2. That's the biggest problem here, Joe, is you can get those really nice dive bombs into the corner, but if you can't maximize on corner exit, it's worth nothing. But Roof's able to maximize here, coming to the inside.
He's got the inside line, but it didn't work for Legault behind him as he picked up a trick that Olivier did not. He keeps a little bit of overlap down the back stretch, keeps it into 3 and 4. In front of them, a lapped car. That's Tyler Gore trying to stay out of the way. Alters the line of Andreas Ike. Is that going to be enough? Roofs down way shallow, but he gets it done and gets into third.
Holds it off that corner. Really, really good job there from Roofs keeping it down. But Andreas Ike not really going away quite yet. He's been having really good runs off of that final corner there. So we'll have to see if he can make something happen down the straight. Although Roofs able to get a little bit of an advantage here, about 3 car lengths in between the two.
As all this has been happening, our leader is just stretching away like it's nothing. Already up to 3 seconds, Josh Chin leads ahead of Adam Wright. Jump a little bit farther back to Matei, who's got a nice little threesome going with Edie and Rodriguez. This is for 7th position. That's Edie that you're seeing leading, who has come in to take a short stop at the start. Off the corner, Matei struggling, and Rodriguez now all over the gearbox.
Yeah, there you go. But you see Matei doing a good job of cutting off that clean air to Rodriguez. That's one of the ways that you can really prevent it, is just delay a little bit coming down. Ooh, Rodriguez almost sending a dive bomb there. He's got great momentum off the line. He's going to jerk to the inside as they cross the start-finish line, start to make the move into 1.
And he's clear. Can he hold on to it, or is Matei going to get an over-under? He gets a little bit of a run, but doesn't poke his nose down. Now, what I find fascinating is it does seem like a number of cars are able to follow pretty closely. I would have thought that the wake would be a problem around here.
Well, it's not as bad as you'd think, Joe, because they're not getting up to complete and total top speed. It's not like we're running at Gateway where they had those long, long straights to really, really get up. You're only getting about halfway through the rev range before you have to back off the throttle. And so that's one of the reasons why that aero wash isn't nearly as pronounced here at Richmond.
Well, it gives us some great racing, that's for sure. As we're now 25 laps into this thing. Edie and Santana now in a little bit of a battle, and Edie's going to absolutely blow by him, making good use of what I assume are fresher tires. They do not have limited sets in this series. So Edie may be realizing just those few laps difference, that little bit difference, actually helps him out a ton.
It does seem like it's working that way, as he is just slicing and dicing his way all the way up through the field, now setting his sights on Olivier Legault in front of him in that blue and white car. Legault working his way around some lap traffic. That's going to be a big theme here tonight, and a lot of these front runners. As here comes Edie down to the inside, going to try that power move again. It looks like he's got it, holding it down to the white line, almost loses it, but catches it and takes the place away from Olivier Legault.
Here I was doubting this strategy call, but Edie's already back up to fifth. He started in second place, so he's even if this is as far as he goes, he didn't lose all that much. A little bit harder road because he's got a gap up to the next cars, which is Ike. And then from there, I do notice that Roofs has been gaining on Adam Wright for the second place. The 87 could be under threat, which, by the way, is an AM driver, so doing very well for himself.
Yeah, mega run from Wright as we now go on board with Aaron Roofs here. You can see him going in. And Joe, you can see it a little bit more of a shallow approach. I think he's recognizing what Wright is doing and just trying to find as much clean air as possible. Digging out to the inside there. I think that actually down the straight, that may be a little bit of a psychological move, making sure Roof knows he's there.
Trying to figure out who it's for. Besaw. Robert Besaw Jr., the number 3 car on the backstretch. I think he made contact with some lap traffic. Yeah, he's going to hit Peterson. Peterson does the most amazing hop, though. Watch this. This might be worth an onboard for Peterson. Just straight up in the air and lands. Hopefully didn't get damage from it. It looks absolutely comical, though.
All right, I got whoop. That's a Mario Kart move, Joe. That's not really iRacing.
That is incredible. Oh, well, we were hoping to get to talk to our second place in the championship, but I think he may have ducked back out because I know he was taking some repairs. He did chat with me behind the scenes and let me know that he intended to get back in. So I believe he has decided it is close enough that he can't really be bothered anymore. He's going to try and salvage something out of this. What does this do for Besaw? Did he head into the pits or did he retire? Besaw's still out there, actually.
Yeah, I don't think he suffered too much damage. There you can see him on screen. A little bit slow. He may get a penalty from race control where he's got to come through and serve something, but looks like he doesn't have any damage that needs assessing right now.
Interesting. He's all right. He is coming down. So down into the lane. Chin still leads with Wright in second. Roofs up to P3 now. Andreas Ike being demoted to fourth, and Declan Edie, who has returned to the top 5. Has got himself some handy pace from what we've seen, and now the gap has been minimized as well with this caution, which will help him hopefully out a little bit amongst those drivers. Paul Wildridge appears to have come into the pits and is back out once again.
He has, and you can see on screen here, Joe, what's going to make this restart specifically interesting is the fact that that's Owen McLaughlin there in between P1 and P2, in between Joshua Chin and Adam Wright. Chin has been absolutely electric on restarts, and I have to think that even if McLaughlin is as heads up as he is, he's always a very, very heady driver, knows where to be. They're going to send him back to the line here, so my point is now null and void.
Isn't that always the case? But I'm sure the leaders will be happy about that. We've only had a few drivers that have not been in pit lane so far. Bear stayed out. Olsen, Gunderson, Matei, Santana have yet to pit. Legault, Ike, Roos, Wright, and Chin. Everybody else has been down the lane at least once, either for repairs or for scheduled service. I think we're going to get lights out this time by. Nice thing about this track is the finish line is actually very early on the front stretch. So we find out rather quickly whether we're going green. And we are indeed. Okay, so resetting once more, our third caution already, but we finally got to see some green flag racing, and that was actually some fairly good racing, DJ.
It really was. These guys are surprising me. I thought this was going to be a bit of a follow the leader race, and this is really, really rewarding bravery out here tonight, being able to dive down into these corners, really paying off for guys like Edie, and you saw Aaron Roos doing it as well. So we'll have to see if that trend continues, Joe.
Well, right now the trend for Chin is being able to run away from everybody. And green flag is out. He doesn't get as big of a jump. It looks like Adam Wright was on the ball this time as he stays with him. Once again, the battle for third is really the hot one. Legault is off the pace, though. He must have had a little bit of a slip up, and he makes contact into the outside wall. David Rodriguez and smashes down another caution. He's going to collect a couple more cars. I think that is Paul Wildridge.
That's Rodriguez on screen. That looks like he's taking a tow back to the pits. His day going to be very close to done, if not completely done, as we watch the replay here.
Thought he had a bit of clearance, and to be fair, he did. But it just seems that Legault, as he's trying to collect himself, missed the memo, and unfortunately tips him just enough that sends Rodriguez straight to the wall.
Yeah, there you can see it again. Legault just got down onto that yellow line like we talked about. It actually looks like Rodriguez may have ping-ponged a little bit there, hit a little bit of that outside wall, anticipating a move from Legault, and that sort of just bounced him back and forth on that. So bit of a heartbreak there for Rodriguez. Always fun to watch during these races.
Speaking of heartbreaks, David Serrois is out, but he's in 24th position, last car running. He's 30 laps down. The one shining light that he has is that Broomhead is a lap ahead of him, but they do not have lucky dogs in this series, so if he's going to pass him, he has to do it the old school way and make that lap up. Beyond Broomhead, it's 3 laps to the next car. He is absolutely going to have to hope for some bad luck for drivers ahead of him to gain any positions in the remainder of this race, sadly.
He will, but as we've seen, stranger things may happen here. So this is a good call from David Serrois, just trying to pick up any points that he can to keep anything resembling of a championship challenge still alive tonight at Richmond.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain he won't give up on it. For fans of Paul Wildridge, he is taking repairs currently, so he's already a lap down. He may go a couple more before he can return, because that was a hard lick on the outside of the entry to 3. And Chin has been just something else. 6 wins, obviously with either win or outside the top 5. He's got 6 top 5s, but he also has 6 fastest laps. So mark of the beast there for the number 93 car. He has 5 poles on top of it. There is 11 bonus points right there. Remember, we said 18 points between Serrois and Chin. That just goes to show the importance of performing all around over the course of the, I don't want to say race weekend, but the entire session, if you will.
Very much so. And Joshua Chin has just proven time in and time out during the course of this series the utter caliber of his driving, whether it is in practice, whether it is in the race, just trying to set a fast lap. He has just been the class of this field, and these guys have fought tooth and nail back at him, and he has had a response for almost everything they throw at him. it almost gets boring for us watching that purple and white machine steal away, but you just have to be enamored with Chin's talent and ability to be able to put this car where he needs to.
It's been stunning for sure. The driver of the number 93 has been the man to beat. We're going to get green once again next time by on lap 42. Will it be the answer to life, the universe, and everything for Josh Chin? Or will he maybe get caught out? Because last time Adam Wright had a pretty good start with him and at least held on for a brief while. He's, in fact, getting right up underneath that gearbox, making sure that he sees exactly when the 93 goes. Pace car getting ready to hop in. There it goes. Chin is off. Wright's looking good. Green flag is out. Roof's behind them, also following suit, but a bad start for Ike, who's under threat from Declan Eady for the 4th place. Legault, did he learn his lesson? It looks a little bit better for the number 88 compared to his last restart. And then behind them, there's quite a train of cars. Kevin Santana also challenging, and now here comes Declan Eady, already to the inside of Ike. Backs out of it, though.
Whoa, and there goes Olivier Legault spinning around on camera. That's going to collect, it looks like Matei, and I believe I'm not sure who that other car was, but
Santana.
That's 3 cars out. It's Santana, 3 cars out again, and another yellow.
Wow. So a single car incident unfortunately causes a couple others to spin in sympathy. In fact, no contact between any of the 3 until after they each start spinning.
No, and I think that may have been
just trying to avoid them.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly who that was. That may have been Dave Peterson coming through there.
So this is on board Santana that we're looking at. Beagle Vision racing car. Let's see what his hands do. Yeah, there's a little bit of movement. I'm guessing he's stomping the brake the way that thing just starts to go on him.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of stomping the brake, and he looked like, he had started to lose the car a little bit and had to correct it and bring it down under that yellow line very slightly. And once you get one tire even onto that line, it is game over. And so that unfortunately puts a temporary end to Santana's race.
The driver that benefited from that is Andrew Wood, now up to 6th place. He even got on the radio saying, everybody in front of me spun, because there's a lot of discussion happening over the radio now. There's some unhappy drivers with how many cautions we've had this early on, which is understandable. Of course, drivers want to get out there and be at speed, not pacing behind the pace car. I have to wonder, especially knowing this group, DJ, do you feel like this should hopefully kind of steal everybody's resolve, clean it up, or do you think this is a cautions breed caution situation?
I think honestly that this is going to try to get everybody really, really buckled down and keep going. We saw a little bit of this at Phoenix, that, couple of quick successions of cautions and everybody sort of went, okay, we got to calm down, we got to do this. We were able to get some decent couple of runs of green flag running there. Same thing happened at Gateway. And frankly, the other thing, Joe, is that, we're losing guys off of this field like flies. And so there's just less cars to bump and run with as you go along.
This is true. Fewer cars means fewer chances at wrecks happening. Sirois already up 1 position. He's to 23rd now. We've got Matei, Legault, and Santana taking repairs, and make that only Legault and Santana. Matei just came back out. So the 218 returns to the racing line. Here is how much attrition we've had. Even with about 1:15 of repairs on the number 218 car, he's still running 13th and a lap down.
That is just wild and shows you just how much we have been dropping here tonight.
So I guess it's a case of keep the car pointed forward, keep the car clean, and you're looking at a good result.
Yeah, I mean, my experience on running a lot of these open wheel short ovals like this on racing is that's kind of the way you have to do it in a lot of these cases. You get racy as the race goes along. You get into the last quarter of the race, okay, then you go for a little bit more of the aggressive moves. And you kind of let the guys who want to, drive the wheels off the thing at the start, let them go up into the wall and just slowly move your way up the grid.
Okay, who's going to take that advice? Edie, who's had really good pace but not had the green flag racing to make as much inroads as he would want, sitting in fifth. He could possibly be the one to use that. What about Adam Wright, who we're on board with right now, looking at Aaron Roofs in P3? Can Wright maybe try and attack Chin, just holding on to his stuff, keeping the rubber in good condition? Green flag is out. Chin is away. Not the best for Wright. Horrible one for Roofs because Ike is already to his inside in the red and white machine, and he's going to slip into third. Roofs is offline. Looks a little bit slow, but Edie can't take advantage.
He can't, but Roof's got a mega run coming off at 2, and he's now going to dive down to the inside of Andreas Ike. You can see it there with Declan Eady thinking about maybe making this 3 wide here. He's going to slip down to the inside of Roofs and caution again.
And, I see a few drivers. Robert Besaw Jr., Guyon. I think Olsen is involved in it as well. Looks like Olsen is the first one. Yep, he's on the high side there. Or no, excuse me, there he is. So the 413, and he's on his own. Now this is absolutely bizarre. I have no idea what caused this one.
Almost looks like he tried to brake coming into the corner and locked up the rears. Looks like he almost, he hits the wall right there. Yep.
Oh, and the car's just broken at that point.
That's exactly what it is, Joe.
Boy, Guyon was unlucky in that. He came upon the spinning car right at the wrong time and then smacked himself into the outside wall. Seeing a number of drivers back out and attempting this race, or what they hope is the rest of the race. Tyler Gore seems to be the most hopeful of this because he's 18 minutes of repairs in right now and 37 laps down, but has not left the pit lane. So we'll see if the 07 is able to get that thing running. And if so, he deserves a Dory Award for sure. We are now down to 5 cars left who have not pitted. A Bear is one of them. Gunderson, Roofs, Wright, and Chin.
Well, we're going to have to see if these guys decide to go into the pits here, or if we're going to see a situation like we did in Phoenix where they may just decide fuel levels can make it. Let's see if we can keep going all the way around. We haven't seen all that much of tire wear. I mean, we've only been green for, I'd say, a grand total of 35, maybe 38 laps here. So we may be in a no pit situation again.
Yeah, I mean, the way things are going, that seems like a viable strategy to me. And I wouldn't put it past Josh Chin to have done the calculations and understand how many he needs to be able to make it to the end. So he'll be probably watching that pattern. Robert Besaw Jr., who spun out, I don't know if he made contact, has come into the pits to try and get a bit of work done on his car, it seems. We are down to 8 cars left on the lead lap, the last of which is Andrew Wood in the number 32.
And it looks like they are sending, as we saw earlier, a lot of those lap cars to the back of the field, trying to get those 8 lead lap cars up front, make things a little bit easier for everybody. So that'll hopefully lead to some good racing. But as we've seen really up and down this field, 3 through 6 is where the fun is tonight. That's really where the good action has been between Edie and Roofs and Ike and all of those guys. So keep your eye on that during the restart.
A few new faces in some of those positions. Christopher Richards has been slowly bumping up the order from 19th. He's currently in P6. Ike down a bit. He's in the 7th position. now that he has finally come in for a stop. Looking to see some of our other big movers. I mentioned Peterson earlier on in the race. He's still in 10th place, but he's up from 22nd. Robert Besaw Jr. in 12th from 29th. Lights are out on the pace car. Let's get ready to go green one more time. Pace car is in. Chen's on the loud pedal as the green flag waves. Once again, a poor start for third place. Aaron Roofs just doesn't seem to have a handle on these restarts, and this time it's Declan Eady who is challenging him. Can't get the pace off the turn. Maybe he can look for something off of 4 potentially as they come down to complete another lap. He washes up way high, and Eady has to get out of the throttle.
Great catch there for Eady. I thought for sure he was a goner, but he's able to keep going. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Aaron Roofs. It almost looks like he's starting a gear up on everybody, just not trying to spin the wheels. Very lucky here to maintain third, but now as we are about ready to cross over for 2 laps of green, everything looking good, and everybody's starting to get a little more single fire.
Let's take a look at Wood and Ikes. This is for 6th place. Ike currently holding down that P6, but struggling as Wood is all over that rear wing. Runs out of straightaway, ducks up high, maybe looking for the momentum off the corner. Doesn't seem to quite be there, but he finds the slipstream, closes in, and once again, just can't quite get the car underneath.
That crossover here at Richmond is so hard to do, Joe. You've got to get it just right, and I think Wood went a little bit too high there. You can't go a full lane up. You've only really got to be able to make it a half lane up on the guy, because if you get too high into this relatively light banking, you just lose all sorts of time around this track.
See where our best battle is still. Chasing him down. All over the back of him. Great run this time. This is a lot closer. Could this be it? He's got the overlap. Ike's going to let him go.
Good patience there from Wood, not trying to force the issue, just letting the pass come to him. That'll move him up there into 6th place. He is up 6 from his original starting place in 12th.
Saw at the top of your screen, fastest lap went to Josh Chin just recently, an 18.192 for him. And he pulls away from Adam Wright by about a second and a half already. Behind them, Roofs has Eady looking left and right, hoping that he can get onto the podium once again. There you see them heading down into 1 and 2. That's Eady in the red and black. And in the yellow and red, that is Aaron Roofs.
Roofs doing a good job of defending, though. He's keeping that low line. Whoo, is up front. That's a big 3 wide with Josh Chin. You just saw that's lap cars in front of him. But Eady just trying to go this way and that on Roofs, trying to find something at all, anything at all.
Maybe the lap traffic could help him a bit. That's a bear on the outside as we're seeing Chin there for a moment. And we got another caution. Is this Peterson? Yes, it is Dave Peterson in the 35. And I think he had a little help from a lapper. Adam Wright, unfortunately, is going to make some small contact down into 3 and 4.
Yeah, I was watching it. This was just sort of a conflagration of a bunch of lapped cars around him. You can see Peterson there in that blue and white. Dive down there and just gets it dinking up into the wall.
It's interesting how violent these wrecks are. Even just with small touches like that, it seems like everything happens so fast on such a small oval. Oof, yeah. Well, in the meantime, everybody who has not yet pit is now in. So they apparently cannot make it all the way without a pit stop. What is this going to do, though, to our order? Anybody able to find something? Is this something where 2 tires are at all an advantage here?
Honestly, when you're running open wheel cars...
Oh, sorry, that is Roofs. Roofs, unfortunately, failing to exit safely and smashes into the wall. Thank goodness we don't actually have pit crews, because he probably would have been into somebody's there.
So we're going to jump back here in a second to get a replay of that, I think. No, we are not going to get it. We're just going to go on. But yeah, sometimes that can happen. You're coming out of the pits, you're focused ahead, and just you lose concentration for a half a second, and there you go into the wall. And that's just Roos was having a really good run there, and that's a big hit to him.
Okay, this is curious. Oh, it's because they did not stop. Andrew Wood and Andreas Eick have stayed out. They have inherited the lead. Chin is now going to be starting in third, but they have a lot of lapped cars. Now, it seems like they've been mainly going with putting the lappers at the back. I wonder if they'll have that gap narrowed here in a second.
Yeah,
This
I'm not
obviously
sure.
changes quite a bit.
Yeah, and we've seen track position be relatively king here, so I've got to think that this is a pretty good move from Wood and Eick. They came in on that last round of yellow flag stops on lap 50, so they've got some relatively fresh tires. It's not like we're going to be dealing with a huge disadvantage here for either of these drivers.
Update on David Serrois. He's up to 21st. He has 2 more cars ahead of him that have completely officially left Besaw Jr. and Santana. I believe Santana is about, what looks like 4 laps ahead of him still, so he should be able to get that one. It is quite a few laps up to Robert Besaw Jr., so kind of a question mark if he can get him. We have, from what my clock tells me, I think about 20 minutes left to go. Let me double check on that.
That's about what I have as well, Joe. I think about maybe 18, 20 minutes. Math was never my strong suit. So, but no, this is going to be very interesting to see what Wood and Eick can do at the front. You know, Chin has been able to absolutely dial in these restarts, but he's not going to be able to dictate the pace. So we're going to have to see what he does. The other thing here is Declan Eady up around Adam Wright. So Wright shuffled back in the order a little bit. Eady's going to be hot on Chin's tail. We've seen Eady have a lot of pace throughout the course of this race.
Absolutely. And I was able to lean over and pull the official clock a little closer to my desk. So 16 minutes left to go, 16 and a half if you want to be more precise. And we are only halfway through the laps, unfortunately. So not sure that we'll be able to finish this one as the pace car is in. Wood is off. What are we going to see from Chin? Are the tires going to make the difference as they take it down into turn 1? Still getting them up to temperature, the 93. Probably having to wait a moment to find some grip in that underneath them. You can also see chasing Declan Eady in the red and black car, and actually very well gets up on our leader in the championship, manages to get below him, down into 1 and 2, but he's not able to complete the pass.
I think he needed to lift just a little bit later there, but he has not given up. He's going to cycle back here. There you can see, Joe, at the beginning of that corner, him running a little bit of a higher line. That's that perfect crossover line I talked about, as Eady's now going to be side by side at Chin going into 1.
Is he going to be able to clear him is the question, or can Chin fight back? Chin doesn't look like he's able to fight back. Wood and Eick are loving this, though. It's costing time for our 3rd and 4th place drivers. It's up to about half a second between Eady and Eick, and 7/10 from Eick to Wood.
And it looks like Eady's really starting to be able to pull away that gap, about 3.5 car lengths between him and Chin. Chin able to close a little bit down the straight. But I also wonder in the back of my head, well, as I say that, Joshua Chin now able to run a really good low line on Declan Eady. He's going to have what looks like an advantage going into turn 1, pushes down to that low side, and he's got the move made.
So this is not going to be an easy one as they look pretty evenly matched. Eady knows that Chin's a hard customer, especially in this series, and how many wins he's been snatching up. So as they continue on around, ooh, and a mistake from Eick is slow in front of Josh Chin. He's going to be able to put a buffer between himself and Eady as he finally gets into P2.
Chin just moving on through the field. I was going to say he may have a setup to lead, but not a setup to follow. That's clearly not the case. Joshua Chin just has a setup for all seasons right here at this race. As he starts to pull away, that's about an 8 car length gap in between him and Andreas Eick, with Declan Eady now desperately trying to get past Andreas Eick to get back on Joshua Chin's gearbox.
And Eady, let's keep in mind, is one of only 3 drivers who have won races this season. Obviously, Josh Chin with the most. Then Serrois took his first finally last round at Mid-Ohio. Edie is still working hard to try and get by Andreas Ike. His win came at round 6.
They had to back off there. They both keep it nice and clean off of that deadly, deadly turn 2. We've seen so many problems there. Able to close a little bit. He's going to run a little bit high there, try to maximize some momentum, pick up in the draft right here. Is he going to try for something? No, he's just going to hold back a little bit. Declan Eady being smart here, not trying to force anything. He knows he's got fresher tires than Ike, so he can afford to push a little bit more. As history repeating itself, same story, different lap for Eady. But now he goes to the inside, working on the move.
Ike left the door open. Oh, and there's a wreck in front of them. Everybody ducks down low to get around it. That is Andrew Wood. That was our leader.
Oh,
in fact, he was losing the lead as that was happening. Chin had caught him offline. Andrew seems to have lost the rear of the car, and that will send him out into the wall, probably out of this race.
There you see, jumps out to the outside, recognizing that lap traffic. He's on that super, super high line. There's just no grip up there, and he just loses the rear end of the car. That's why you can't run that super high line around here, Joe, as there is just no grip, and that will happen to you.
And remember, he was on older tires as well, so probably that much harder to try and keep them underneath him going on the far high line. Down to 12 minutes for those curious, so still plenty of time left for another restart and some good racing. But now that Josh Chin is back up to the front, can anybody challenge him? Edie should be able to try at least this time, because he'll be restarting right behind the number 93. And so far, that 013 car has been one of the quickest out there.
It has, and most specifically, it has been the fastest on restarts. And so I think we may see Edie make a play for the lead here, but we could very well see what happened on that last time. Edie gets the advantage in the first couple of laps, and then Chin just sits back for a lap or two, sizes up his opponent, and then pounces. But we will have to see, as you said, yeah, closing down here on about 12 minutes to go, 12, 11 minutes to go. Time is running out for anybody to try to take the fight to Josh Chin.
I am not certain that we do have anybody that can challenge him. Edie is a possibility. He has been quick, like we mentioned. The question is, can he execute? Can he even keep pace with Josh? Because we haven't had a straight fight with him quite yet. Edie certainly looks feisty out there today. Still plenty of laps to settle this one out. And Sirwa is up to 20th position now as he's overtaken Santana. They're still working on Robert Besaw Jr. with about 11 laps to get by him. That should be doable even with cautions, I think. So that'll bump him to 19th. But he is still 2 laps down from Michael Broomhead, unfortunately. Sirwa just not getting the break on the way they've been splitting under these cautions, which should hopefully end soon. We've got the lights on, so we got at least 2 more laps to go here in round 9 of the PRL Indy Pro 2000 series.
And once again, we're seeing those lap cars cycling to the back. That's Sean Duhamel and a couple of other of those guys. They're going to work their way back, giving us a nice little fight here at the front. I'm so fascinated to see what Edie can do in terms of this restart, if he's going to be able to stick on the gearbox. On these restarts, when Chin has been in the lead, we haven't really seen him threaten that much. You know, Adam Wright wasn't really able to apply that much pressure, so this is going to be the first restart that Chin's really got another pro driver breathing down his neck.
That's a good point. And let's see, who is our highest AM now? It's still Adam Wright, actually, back in P4. Holding his own, certainly, here on the oval side, which is impressive because I'm looking at Adam Wright, and his iRating on the oval side is only at 1,400. Not a driver you would typically expect to be challenging this much within the top 5 all race long. So good points haul for that number 87. If you can just keep it together the last few laps. Easier said than done from what we've seen so far today. because even talented drivers have unfortunately lost it on their own or just fallen susceptible to the chaos of short track racing. Pace car's in, and Joshua Chin is immediately away. Green flag is out. Not a horrible start for Edie, but also didn't really keep Joshua Chin in threat there. Behind him, Andreas Eick trying not to lose more positions, but now he's got Adam Wright and Aaron Roofs just behind him.
Everybody's going to be single file for the moment here, but I don't think that's going to last too long, as there you see Roofs really starting to get some runs on Adam Wright. He's going to look to the inside, and we've got another yellow flag.
I'm trying to figure out who that one was, because I'm not seeing. Oh, is it Serwa? It is. It's Serwa again, but this time it's because of David A. Bear hitting the wall. So the 16 drifted a little bit high. Yeah. So thus ends, I believe, the try from David Serwa to at least get a few more points out of a miserable and unfortunately short day for him.
Yeah, Serwa just absolutely collected there, nowhere to go, and that just, it's a day of heartbreak for a lot of drivers, and I think no more for David Serwa.
That makes Michael Broomhead now our last driver to be running, and he scored 19th, but he is looking to overtake Peterson and Besaw Jr. in the next couple laps, so he should be promoted up to at least 17th by the end of this race. We are down to 7 minutes left to go of what we are pretty certain is a time-limited race for today's event. Everybody continuing to cycle around behind the pace car, and only 7 cars left, DJ, on the lead lap.
No, it's only 7 cars, and they've pretty much been the guys we've been talking about all race. Chin, Edie, Eick, Wright, Roofs, but really, really great runs here from Matthew Gunderson and Christopher Richards, the 6th and 7th place car. They are up 10 and 12 places respectively. They have just been able to keep their noses clean, which has been not an easy feat here tonight. And so kudos to both of those AM drivers.
You know, I said that I didn't think we'd have people falling afoul of the penalties here, but I'm kind of wondering if any of the drivers have gone over at least the drive-through, potentially the disqualification as well. Real quick, let's go over the team standings since we didn't get a chance to cover those in the pre-race. It is currently Team Talent leading that with Lavoie Motorsport, about 24 points behind. Now, Lavoie includes Serwa, so unfortunately he won't be able to contribute to that one. Team Talent, Josh Chin, well, he's obviously going to be doing well there. I think it's Alex Guyon, the other Lavoie driver, and I want to say he is also DNF'd. I'll double check on that one. RSR Esports, way far back there. Blown Tranny Racing also not really looking likely to try and overtake that 3rd position. And Beagle Vision Racing, who we saw Santana races for, is down in the 5th spot. Okay, I believe lights are still on. Yes, they are. So we're going to go around at least one more time, restarting on what we expect will be lap 91. With about 4.5 minutes to go.
Well, this could be that moment, Joe, that I was talking about earlier, where you see a lot of these lead guys starting to throw a little bit of caution to the wind, knowing with the speed and rapidity that we've seen these cautions come out. I think they're going to really start to push. So guys like Edie and Eick are really going to want to push, especially as we just heard over the team radio that ostensibly the next caution will end this race.
That makes sense to me. I just don't think they've got enough time to get it going green once again, at least due to the clock. Sometimes that can play a little havoc, unfortunately, with how these iRacing stewards count this thing and when they will decide it over. But we'll try to keep you abreast as the pace car is in and Josh is off, taking that traditional line he has all race, ducking it down low on the restart, squaring it off. And that served him well. Edie is not able to attack. What about Wright on Eick's, though? He's close behind, starts to drop back as he stays low, coming off of turn 2. Costs some time. Strong into 3, though, and regains it all.
I think that may have been a little bit of case there for Wright of just not wanting to run afoul of those cold tires. So if that's the case, really heads up play. He's able to get a really good run off of 2. We'll have to, or off of 4. Let's see what he can do here. He sticks it up high this time, stays in the draft. Once again, starts to close in on the back of Ike, and he's going to be still right there. So Wright certainly not out of this picture yet. And same with Aaron Roofs, as we've got that yellow flag, Joe.
Oh. So trying to real quick find who that is. Is it Sirwa again? No, it's not Sirwa. Oh, it is Jean-Francois Matte, the 218 car, and it was a single car incident. Just lost control. Remember, he was one that was involved in a wreck earlier, so he could have also had damage that just was not totally fixed. You'll see it in the middle of 3 and 4. Watch the orange and black car in the middle of your screen. Oh, just a small bobble, yeah.
Yeah, just looks like he lost a little bit of the rear end, tried to catch it, couldn't get it. That collected him and sent him up into the wall. And Joe, by my clock, we have about 2.5 minutes left. And so I think that is going to end it here tonight. And Josh Chin will walk away with his 7th victory on the year.
It does appear that way. You're right. It's 2.5 right now. And from what we've seen, that's these cautions tend to take at least 4 minutes. So drivers are going to slowly work their way around, and we expect that Chin should take the victory. Edie with a 2nd place and Ike with a 3rd, unless we get something crazy happening out there in the next few laps, with how things have gone. I mean, again, you can't discount something wild here today at Richmond. Our final count, we're expecting 7 on the lead lap, and I believe 16 finishers. It's hard to tell because we do have a few that are still behind those taking repairs. Andrew Wood, one of them, who is scored in 14th, and I think he actually will take that because I think he did enough laps to go official. So he will be considered a runner at the end. He's got Legault, Gaillon, Broomhead, and Sirwa behind him. So Sirwa did get back out after more repairs. And Gaillon did not retire. He's still running in the 16th spot, but I don't think that'll be much consolation in that team's championship for the pair of them.
No, it certainly won't. And I think this race is really just going to solidify standings across the board, frankly, as they come their way about here. By my watch, that is officially 1 minute to go. I would not be surprised if we see the yellow flag flying here, Joe.
You mean the white flag, right?
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
It's a good call. The yellow flag is indeed flying.
It is. It is indeed out.
I think, yeah, that is probably the white flag, ticking down to 30 seconds as they head into turn 1. So we'll see what iRacing says for us. Adam Wright, man, hats off to that guy. The 87 started 5th, going to finish 4th, and has outperformed himself. Should be one to watch out for in the upcoming oval rounds next season among the PRL Indy Pro 2000 series, since they typically have these races throughout scattered. Are we going to see a white flag this time, or is this the checkered flag? We're waiting for the stand to pull it out, and white flag. This is the last lap this time, just as the lights go out on the pace car. That's very little consolation. So wait, are we going to get a 1-lap shootout actually? No, it should actually bring the caution or the checkers out here.
Yeah, we may see. Joe, I don't know how iRacing scores this. If anybody can pull a Schumacher at Monaco move here and try to get it in between.
Yeah, I don't think you can pass before the start-finish line, unless, well, I guess you can if it's above the other driver, and I don't think Josh Chin is going to allow anybody to get up on the high side. I think he's too smart for that. Yeah, here he goes, all the way up to the high side. And while the green flag sort of comes out, it's the green and checkers here today, as Josh Chin is going to take victory in round 9 at Richmond International Raceway. We're going to go to a quick break. We'll come back with the unofficial results and stick around because the driver interviews are going to be interesting today. Welcome back to Richmond Raceway, where we watched round 9 of the PRL Indy Pro 2000 series. And despite a lot of cautions, when it was green, it was fantastic racing out there. Josh Chin was yet another win for him, and Andreas Ike came home in second, starting from ninth. Good climb. Adam Wright finishing P3 with Aaron Roofs in fourth. Now, this we've said this is unofficial. We are getting word that there were some black flags given out after the checkers came out. So this may be changed post-race. Do not take this to be the final order. Matthew Gunderson was fifth, and Christopher Richards was sixth, with Declan being sent back to seventh, even though he finished in second on the road here today. Jean-Francois Matte, the first car lap down, was P8. Tyler Scarali, 4 laps down in ninth, and 6 laps down for Sean Duhamel in 10th place.
7 laps down and in P11 was Paul Wildridge, followed by David Hebert in 12th. 10 laps down, Donald Olson and Andrew Wood, your leader at one point, came home in 14th. 16th laps down. Olivier Legault bringing the car home in 15th, 21 laps down. Alex Gaillon in 16th, 23 laps down. Michael Broomhead 17th. David Serrois, we talked about him a lot today. Best he was able to do was 18th. Robert Besaw Jr. in 19th, and Dave Peterson in 20th.
Everything on down from there was a DNF for today. A lot of drivers that unfortunately didn't get to see the checkered flag. But the man who did get to see it, even though it was combined with a green flag, was Josh Chin. Let's see what he thinks of win number 7 here today on our third oval of the season. Josh, that looked like a bit of a slog out there. Not too much green flag racing, but a win is a win.
Yeah, I kind of had some expectations going tonight that we were going to have something like that, and it came true pretty early. So I'm pretty sleepy right now. So a lot of that is just kind of getting through and staying awake.
I can imagine. I need a few shots of adrenaline throughout the race. It seemed like you were mainly intent on retaining that clean air in front of you. The one time that you did give it away was through the pit stops. How did the car feel with the fresh rubber? Was that enough of an advantage that Ike and Wood were of no concern, or was it really a track position sort of day?
It was a lot of track position and just fighting for it. That first restart, on the new tires, the first probably 5 laps or so were really difficult with the cold tires. We didn't really fire off that well compared to most other people. So the first 5 laps was just spent trying to not lose third so I could go run them down. And then after that, the track position was kind of negated with the tires a little bit. But overall, I understand why they made the pit call that they did, because it was very difficult to fight against people on the restarts, and we had a lot of them.
Yeah, it looked good for a while, at least until Wood lost it as you were challenging him, and unfortunately that ended his day prematurely. Now, Next round, we are heading over to Watkins Glen, and that is going to be not quite an oval, but if you could consider some road courses as oval esque, Watkins Glen seems like one that could be comparable.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult to pull away from people. I think we're going to see a race kind of like Road America all over again, where you end up getting these little packs of 2, 3 cars racing each other. They can't get away. Um, I think it won't be quite as packed up as normal, just because the car seems to be a little bit more difficult to drive this season compared to last season, and I think it's running a later time of day. But it's definitely going to be very competitive and very draft filled.
No doubt about that. Well, again, congratulations on win number 7 for the season and a potential to lock up the championship early. Uh, is anybody you'd like to thank before you head out?
Everyone at Team Talon, Team Chimera. Big shout out to John for the setup this week. Really knocked it out of the park. And I know a few guys in the race. I think Adam Wright for sure was one of them. Ran a great race on the CSS set. So check that out, craigsetupshop.co.uk, and get a pretty fast setup for Richmond this week.
Great stuff there from Josh Chin. And I will check on the points. When I say early, next round is the last one, but he may have wrapped it up today. We'll find out on that. In the meantime, we've got Declan Eady with DJ Clark about what could be a contested second place.
Well, Declan, I know it was really frustrating for you starting to close in on Jonathan, just yellow after yellow, but talk us through that one.
Beside him, on the front row there, and then he kind of pulled away. That first caution, I hit a piece of debris, so I had to go in and change my wing. And after that, I managed to claw my way back to the front, and then, caution after caution came out. I worked my way up, got to second, and then we took the checkered flag under yellow. Fireworks, all that stuff happened. So I assumed the race was over. I pull around to get into the pits past Josh, who had slowed down, and I got the black flag. So I don't really know what's up with that. Hopefully we can get that sorted out, because it would be nice to get a podium out of all this, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was strange. I mean, we were watching it, and thank you for answering that. We were curious why you jumped into the pits. You were able to go a long time. I mean, were you struggling with tire wear at all out there whatsoever, or was it really just a matter of you could just get the car to go if you pushed her hard enough?
Well, the one kind of long run that we got of whatever the maybe 30 laps it was, the car felt really nice, and it's just a matter of getting it fired up after about 5 laps, and then it really comes into its own. Before that, it's a little tight. So I think you saw a lot of guys struggling with that. And tire wear wasn't really a factor. Changing tires was never really on my mind, because I know from experience it's more effort to get them fired back up again than you gain out of taking them. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, hopefully I can hold on to that P2 and get some points out of this finally.
Well, we're hoping for you, because that was a really great drive to see you coming through the field. But before we let you go, Declan, anybody you need to thank tonight?
I'd like to thank obviously my teammates for helping with the setup. Needed a little bit of extra help with the ovals. I'd like to thank G Performance, who's our equipment sponsor, Formula Hypersoft News, who's our social media sponsor, as well as Abruzzi, who do all our team kit. So we got our own little merch. And I'd like to thank you guys too for putting on a good broadcast as always.
Well, thank you, Declan, and we'll be keeping an eye on those points. Hopefully you can hold on to that P2.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, guys.
Was what we believe is P2 for the race, Declan Eady. And lastly, we have David Serrois, who wound up scored as 18th in the end. And David, I know the stereotype is that Canadians are ultra polite, but I have to wonder if you broke that stereotype tonight.
No, sorry, but I won't broke this stereotype. It's an unfortunate being bumped like this in the very first lap by an over-aggressive driver is disappointing, but that's racing, I guess, and it's the first time I have a DNF. Well, it's not really a DNF, but finishing very far out of the top 10. It's the first time this season, so I'll take my joker, and I will try to come back stronger next week.
Glad the ever optimism is there, and it was encouraging to see you try and at least get out and salvage something of the race. But even that seemed to come with its own problems because you still got involved in a wreck, even trying to just hang back.
Yeah, I have no view of what happened on my right, and I saw someone going in. I don't know what happened, but I didn't see anything. I just saw a car coming on me, and there's nothing I could do. But I have to say, the Lavo Motorsport mechanics are very, very good because the car was still handling quite well after all those wrecks. So congratulations, they worked hard tonight.
Very hardy car, it seems. Commiserations on the poor finish, but hopefully we'll get to see you in Watkins Glen, sir.
I hope I will do well next week.
Same here. That is David Sirois, who finished 18th today, sadly 33 laps down from the leader. We're going to thank our sponsor for today's race, Butt Kicker. Again, if you want to find them, they are at thebuttkicker.com. And also a thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Her Bandcamp is there on your screen as well. Thanks to the team today, DJ, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel, Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC_Graham. The next race, as we mentioned, is going to be at Watkins Glen Thursday, December 3rd at 9 p.m. Eastern for the finale. So we got a little bit of a break for Thanksgiving here in the States. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, though, race clean, race hard, and see you on the track.